Kino Der Toten is one of Zombies' most infamous maps. Released in Black Ops 1, players for the game could either choose between playing 5, which had a fear factor and was very difficult, or playing Kino, which was significantly more friendly to the player. Even today, most people believe Kino to be one of the best maps of all time, and some even rate it as the best map of all time. Hopping on Black Ops 3 to play some Zombies Chronicles, if the player counts work for you, which again, they're spotty, but if they work for you, you'll often see that Kino is the #1 or #2 most played map at any given time. Candidly, this is insane to me. For me, Kino Der Toten was a fun map, but it was never anywhere near the best map. I think this map has been very, very much overrated for many years. And today, I want to look at why exactly I don't think Kino Der Toten is really even a top 10 map. Maybe a top 20, but I definitely don't even think it's worthy of being a top 10. One last thing, guys, before we get into this video, put down in the comments below, let me know your thoughts on Kino. Do you consider it to be one of the greatest maps of all time, or do you agree that it is a very much overrated map? Let me know what your favorite map is, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, share this video with friends, and if you like this type of content, I post mainly Zombies content and Hunt Showdown content on this channel, so please consider dropping a subscribe. We're almost to 100. So without further ado, let's look at Kino Der Toten. On November 9th, 2010, Call of Duty Black Ops was released. This game for me really sent Call of Duty frenzy or craze to a new level. While the Modern Warfare games had already set records for sales and had dominated the previous top-selling Xbox game, that being the Halo series, Black Ops took Call of Duty to a new level because it had mastered the Zombies mode that was slowly gaining popularity in the World at War game. Zombies in Black Ops took on a whole new level of scale, sophistication, depth, and frankly fun. The new code meant the zombies were less glitchy, they were more easy to manage, but also there was a lot more depth to the maps now with Easter eggs, new weapons, new wonder weapons, and new perks. When Black Ops released, there were only 2 Zombies maps that came with the game, unless you ordered the Veteran or Prestige Edition, which then you got the remastered World at War maps that later came back in the Resurrection DLC. But for the players that didn't buy the remastered maps at launch, there were only 2 maps, Kino and 5. As I've already said, 5 had to be unlocked through the campaign, and was a much more difficult and scary map, and so really 5 had a much lower population compared to Kino. Kino, on the other hand, represented all the best that players had come to appreciate for Zombies back in World at War, and added onto it with basically nothing, meaning it was a safe and friendly map for players wanting to dip their toes back into the Zombies experience. This is funny because Kino was originally planned to be a World at War DLC until Treyarch determined it was too close to the launch of Modern Warfare 2, and so they pushed it to Black Ops 1. And frankly, you can tell this map was planned to be a World at War map. Like I've kept saying, this map is very simple. It feels drastically more simple than really any other map in Black Ops 1, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but the layout feels like it belonged in World at War. And I think if Kino had actually launched on World at War, Der Toten would still be considered the best map out of the original games. I think the fact that Kino launched on Black Ops 1 and players had such a long time to play with it and learn it before the remastered maps were released to the general public really helped set Kino apart. So, what are my issues with Kino? Why do I think it's overrated? First, like I said, the map was very simple. This isn't a bad thing. For example, I think Der Toten is very simple. However, Der Toten offers multiple spots when you're playing with a team of 4 to play the game. For example, on Der Toten, if you want to camp, you can go up on the catwalk. That is very fun. All 4 players can go up there, and they can fend off the horde for an extended period of time. If you want to train, there's the Thompson room, there's the spawn room, there's the power room that the catwalk overlooks. You can also, if you want, train the whole map. Compare this to Kino, it feels like the training spots are significantly more difficult. The obvious answer for Kino is the stage for where to train. Other than the stage, there's a very, very tight train you can maybe run in the spawn, and there's a full map train you can run. But there's really not any camping spots to play this map on. In my opinion, part of what makes a map good is if it offers diversity of play, and it factors in from 1 player to 4 players. I think Kino is a very good solo map, however, I think it really lacks when it comes to 4 players. For people like me that really enjoy the multiplayer dynamic of zombies and are a lot less interested in just playing zombies solo day in and day out, that was a huge loss in my opinion. I think another thing that highlights maybe this oversight when it comes to diversity of play as well as the compatibility between 1-player lobbies versus 4-player lobbies is the Pack-a-Punch on this map. With Der Riese, the first map to have Pack-a-Punch, it was very easy. After you opened the teleporters, you could Pack-a-Punch free at will. In 5, all you had to do was activate the DEFCON switches, and then anyone could go to the teleporter for free and Pack-a-Punch. In Ascension, after calling all 3 of the landers, anyone could Pack-a-Punch after sending their rocket off. However, Kino, while not nearly as egregious as Moon's Pack-a-Punch system or Shangri-La's Pack-a-Punch system, is less of this very easy Pack-a-Punch and more of a Pack-a-Punch that requires some teamwork. In zombies, that's something that really doesn't happen a lot unless you're doing an Easter egg, and so the Pack-a-Punch was a source of frustration where people would just take the teleporter whenever they felt like it. This type of design, again, makes me think that Kino was not made with co-op play in mind as much as it was made with solo play in mind. I think Kino, again, as a solo map, is very good, but for example, why is it that when you take the teleporter up, all the zombies freeze, or some freeze and some don't? It's very weird. This does not make the map very fun for co-op, because you kind of have to deal with these zombies half walking in slow steps around while they're getting pulled to the people in the Pack-a-Punch room while also getting pulled to the people on the ground. What I find when I play Kino a lot of the time with friends is that after about 20 to 30 rounds, it just gets old. Someone gets to keep the stage when they train, and the other players are kind of left to find a new place to train. And because the stage commands so many of the spawn points on the map, the person on the stage gets the overwhelming number of the zombies, whereas the other players really only get a couple each round. For me, this just isn't a very fun zombies experience. The other thing about Kino is it really did not introduce much. It used the Black Ops 1 weapons that were featured in every zombies map, and it featured a new wonder weapon, the Thunder Gun. The Thunder Gun is one of the best wonder weapons of all time, and so I think that also helps push Kino up on the list in many players' minds when they think about their favorite map. However, Kino did not introduce any new perks. Kino used the same boss round from the World at War games, and so when I think about innovations that Kino brought to the table from World at War, other than the new engine, which is more Black Ops than Kino, it really is hard to think about any new great things that Kino brought to the table. However, the one thing that Kino did introduce was the crawler zombies. Crawlers are a very frustrating zombie. I think that they make the game worse. I never understood why they were on Kino. I think thematically they made sense for 5, and I think there was a reason they made sense on 5 when you were on the lower levels. But with Kino, just having them run in wherever you turn on the power, they just become more of an annoyance for most high round players and for most general players, and so I really struggle to see what the benefit of adding this was. And so when I look at Kino, there's just not a lot there that was added for the player that actually benefited them. In fact, I think the bigger contributions were the zombie crawlers, and those hurt the player massively. They make the map worse. In fact, in Black Ops 3, if people are going for high rounds, it's a common strategy to either leave the power off or to take a convoluted route to the alleyway and try to train in the alleyway, which is very difficult because crawlers don't spawn in the alleyway in Black Ops 3. That is how much the crawlers are disliked by the community. I think a few things that Treyarch could have introduced to Kino that would have spiced it up was perhaps giving players access to the catwalk above the stage. I know, again, that's kind of ripped off of Der Riese, but having the first, I think, climbable ladder in zombies and having it be a little Easter egg that you would have to collect the tapes to unlock this little ladder to be on the catwalk would have given co-op players a new play style to explore on the map. Another thing they could have done was just create some different qualifications for when the crawler zombies spawned. Maybe only have them spawn when you teleport and when you're in the Pack-a-Punch room. Or I really don't know. I really think the crawler zombies were the most annoying aspects of Black Ops 1. I don't know why they were ever added, and I don't think they really contributed much to the game but frustrations. Again, from a thematic purpose, they're very creepy, and I could understand what purpose they served in that. But just from a gameplay perspective, they just weren't it. In short, I think Kino Der Toten, while a good map, is by far the most overrated map in Zombies history. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Is Kino Der Toten a really good map, arguably the best map of all time? Or is it the map that was in the right place at the right time? Released at the height of Call of Duty's popularity with a brand new engine that helped propel it to the fan base's favorite map. I do just want to clarify, it wasn't a brand new engine. It's the same engine that was used in World at War, but it was upgraded and enhanced for Black Ops 1. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe. Like I said, this channel is mostly going to be focused on zombies and hunt content, but I'm always happy to try new games. I love giving my take on various games, and so you might get a fair variety of games sprinkled here throughout as this channel grows. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.